Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to take an opportunity to show you all the new products just released from the Trinity Stamps shop for March 2023. There are some super cute Easter and spring things. So first, let's take a look at the new stamp sets. This is the most popular by far. It's the Peep Show stamp set. It has two different kinds of stamps to stamp out some peeps and a coordinating die set, not to mention some really cute punny sentiments, which I always love. So let's take a look at this stamp set and die set in action, because there is like a standalone die in the set, which I think makes it like over the top. Yeah. Okay, so we have this outline image here, and this is great for like stamping on colored cardstock or stamping and doing some inky techniques. And then we have a solid stamp, which is great for stamping with your colored inks. So cool. All right, then we have the cute little face you can stamp out, just the three little dots, but it's so iconic for that Peeps look. This die right here is going to work great to cut out these two stamped images, and super cute die cut all by itself. There is a die to cut out every single one of the words and a little bubble cut, which I think is really fun. I love that. So we have things like a little Easter treat, squishy sweet hugs, Peep Show, party peeps. It's so cute. This is the standalone die right here. Die cuts out the bunny with a stitched edge and cuts away the little dots and nose for the face. So that one's very popular. It's sold out already on day one, but it'll be back very soon. So next we have the Vintage Bunny. Two-piece die set. It's 4x3. This bunny is so cute. He has like a little suit on and a bow tie. I think it's so darling. Now, all Trinity Stamps dies come hooked together, so you do need wire snips to snip them apart. And then you've got your two dies to die cut out both of these pieces. Here they are, colored and die cut out, so you can see how they look. And on a card, here's a card I made using this set, and you can see how cute he is all colored up. All right, next we have the EGGstra stamp set. Now this one might seem a little simple, right? It's got this big punny sentiment and 4 eggs, but it also has dies to die cut it out, and there are 7 dies versus 5 stamps. So I'm going to show you how that works. First, I want you to see the stamps in action. There's a little bit larger egg and a little bit smaller egg. In solids and in outline, you can stamp them separately, and you could also layer them together. Now the sentiment is spaced just far enough apart that you could easily ink this up with different colors of ink, like I've done right here. There are dies to cut out every single egg that you stamp, and the sentiment dies are separate, which allows you to reconfigure this saying sentiment however you like, horizontally, vertically, staggered, and you could even omit part of it and use like an alphabet stamp or a different kind of sentiment and, build onto it. Also, I love that you can color up these outline eggs. I am doing mine here in an ombre, but you could have lots of fun with dots and stripes and really make them look Eastery. So that is the EGGstra set that I think is one of those things you can add to your existing collection of Easter things and really fit it in with what you already own, like I did on this card here. Those little chicks are from some gnome stamp sets from previous Easter releases, and I thought it was really cute. Plus, I stamped those eggs in the checkered background too. Next up is the Layered Lawn stamp and die set. So there are 4 different stamps here where you can stamp a row that is grassy, and they have different looks, but these stamps are also made to layer on top of each other. It's so cool. It gives such a cool 3D effect, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. But first I want to show you the dies, because there's a die to cut out every grassy row, but then there's a 5th die, and that die cuts out the grass when you've stamped all 4 of them together. So clever. All right, so to stamp this out, I'm going to start with that top image. It's the most solid of the 4, and I'm going to stamp that with my lightest color of green. And I'm going to show you what each of them look like stamped out so you can get a really good look at it. See, you could easily use that just like that. Then I'm going to take the second stamp, so it's a little bit more detailed, and I'm going to stamp that with a little bit darker ink. So I'm just building up this kind of scenery of grass. Here's the third stamp, so it's a little bit shorter, a little bit more detailed, and I used a little bit darker color of ink, and you can just see how it's building it up. It's getting some good dimension, but the addition of the 4th layer, the shortest level of grass with that dark color, really finishes off this look. I love it. So then I'm going to take that die cuts out this row once all 4 of them have been stamped, and you can see it's just going to cut across the top. But I lined up my stamps in the bottom corner of my MISTI every time to make sure they lined up, and so it's going to cut it out beautifully. So that's a look at the layered lawn. I am going to use it at a card that you'll see closer to the end. Next up, we have the Stained Glass Lily stamp set and coordinating die set. Here is that set. You can see the oval is quite large. It's going to take up a lot of the room on an A2 size card, so like a great focal point image. Plus we have with sympathy, that's always good to have, and then Easter blessings, so you can make a little bit more elegant Easter cards. So there it is stamped up, and I did take some time to color it out. Super simple to color because there's no ink blending. You can just color a solid color. That's kind of the look of stained glass, and so that's what I did. And then I am using my oval die to cut that out, that comes in the coordinating die set, but also is a great standalone die. And then there are the sentiment dies that will detail cut right around those words. So there it is, and then here is the finished card, which, by the way, I will have a video for this card coming out very soon, so stay tuned for that because I did something really fun with it. All right, next we have our baby bunny stamp set. 4 cute baby bunnies and some sentiments that are not Easter, so you can use this set really easily for other occasions like happy birthday, welcome little one, missing you, somebody loves you. It's really cute. I mean, look how adorable these bunnies are. So I'm going to color these out in different colors so you can see what it looks like in white, gray, tan, and black. And my word, they're so cute. And of course, there is a die to cut out all the things and that detail cut right around the words. So here's a card I made with the bunnies colored in tan. And this brings us to our next topic, standalone dies. There was a die set in there that I'm going to show you next called Picket Fence. It's a cut out die, which means you can cut a window into your card. Okay, but you could also cut a square either 3 inches or like this one I believe is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, like it's like the exact size of the die, and that's going to give you a little frame. If you want to make it into a shaker like the card I just showed you, do a 3-inch square, but this little square fits perfectly onto 3 by 3 love note cards. Plus this die set has grass and clouds. And speaking of 3 by 3 note cards, here's the ones that I made, and I have a bunny in every color on those cards. Next, I have the Bunny Egg Shaker die set. So this die set is pretty cool because it's going to allow you to make a shaker of an egg and a bunny standing behind it holding it. But then it's also going to give you great egg shapes in 2 different sizes. So we have our solid egg that's large, we have our frame egg, and you can keep that fallout piece from the center of that for a little bit smaller egg. Then we have the ears with the fallout pieces, we have the little paws, feet for the bunny, and then the bottom feet for the bunny, which follow the curve of the egg. So this is going to look like the bunny is standing behind the egg holding it. So here I'll show you how you can use it on the solid egg, just kind of gluing everything in place. You'd maybe glue those feet coming from behind and the ears coming from behind. Just like that. It's pretty easy and so cute. So now let's see what it looks like turned into a shaker element. So you're going to take that frame and add a window sheet to it. Now I die cut my frame or my window sheet using the largest egg, and that gave me the perfect size to fit behind my frame. And then I was able to go around that with my Trinity Stamps foam strips, which bend so beautifully and really create a nice tight reservoir for my shaker elements. And I decided to add in some sprinkles from the Trinity Stamp shop. These are huckleberry and I just love them. I also added some clear micro beads, and then I'm adding a second window sheet to the back of this. It just makes it so much easier to line it up on other things and not have to worry about my shaker bits escaping. So I glued my feet onto my background egg, which is just the solid white one that I splattered with some mica spray stain. I thought some mica would be fun in there. I added the feet and the ears, and I could have curved my feet in a little bit more. It kind of looks like it has a heel. So I could have scooted them in a tiny bit more. And then it was really easy to glue down my egg on top of that. And then the last finishing touch is the little hands, and it is so fun. So I will be making a card with this guy also very soon. So be sure to watch for that. But now it's ready to go onto my cute card. I have such a good idea. I hope it works out. The idea in my head. Okay, next we have our chocolate bunny die set. This one I am just in love with because it die cuts a bunny that looks exactly like a chocolate bunny. And what makes it do that is these lines that are pressed or embossed into the cardstock. So I die cut mine from some dark brown, medium brown, and some, I believe it's watercolor paper because it has that kind of vanilla tint to it. There's also a little tiny pupil, which I die cut from blue cardstock. I did put a scrap of paper behind mine because I wasn't putting these down on a card right away, and that gave me a place to glue the pupil. And here's my card. I already have a video out with this one. I will link it for you below, and you can see how I made a box for my chocolate bunny. All right, next up we have our Dainty egg layers. I did not get this die set yet. It's on its way. So I asked some of my friends on the Trinity Stamps design team if I could show you some of their projects so you could see that die set in action. But we're kind of known for the dainty scalloped edges, so I wanted you to see that new addition to the line. Next up, we do have one foiling set. It's the Big Easter cut and foil. So there's 2 dies and 1 hot foil plate in this set. So the one on the very top is going to cut your shadow layer. The next one is going to cut your word Easter, and the bottom one is the hot foiling plate. Here's what they look like die cut out. You can see that layered piece is a little bit fatter, and I also saved the negative piece from that because I'm going to use that to die cut out my hot foiled piece. My hot foiled piece is getting hot foiled on purple cardstock with white foil, and it is amazing. I love it. So let's see what it looks like when we remove the plate and the foil, and we've got that great sentiment on there. So cool. So if you would like to die cut this out, here is my trick. I'm going to save that outline piece from die cutting out the shadow layer. I'm going to line it up over my hot foiling and tape it into place. Then I can just drop that same die back in and it lines up perfectly where I need it to die cut out my hot foiled piece. Just like that. Isn't that so good? All right. Also, you can take the die cut word Easter and add that over the top of that shadow layer. So there are lots of options with this die and cut. It's a die and foil set. Yeah, so there you can see purple on white and white on purple. Okay, next, let's talk about the 2 stencil sets in this release. First up is the ribbon twirl egg. Now, if you remember back to Christmas, we had a ribbon twirl Christmas tree, which was super cool. There was actually 2 different kinds. So having one that looks like a piece of ribbon twirled around an egg shape is so much fun. They have etched lines, so it's really easy to line up these 2 pieces and create that look. Plus you have all the little pieces that you can use as masks if you would like. So I did the first layer in a light purple ink. And then I'm going to clean off my stencil, and then I can reposition it over the top using those etched lines and use a darker ink, and then I've got a 2-toned ribbon twirled egg shape. Isn't that so cool? It's so 3D looking. All right, so I don't have a card with that one yet, but you know, stay tuned to my channel because I always like to play with all my Trinity Stamps things. So here I'm just showing you how you can layer up those negative pieces, the fallout pieces from the stencil, and use them as masks if you would like to do that. Okay, last but not least is the Layered Eggs stencil. This is a 6x9 stencil, and so you can use it on slimline cards and anything else you want to fit it onto. But this is also a 2-piece stenciling set, and you get the pieces that have fallen out of the die to use as masks also, which is so helpful, and I am going to show you how I used that. So I am going to first start out by stenciling the solid eggs. I did that in pink, but these are far enough apart you could easily do each egg a different color, like hello rainbow, right? I splattered that with water just to give them a little bit of something interesting on them. And then I'm taking the second layer, lining it up with those etched lines and doing some blue eggs, which I also splattered before removing my stencil. And there you can see what they look like, all lined up, and they're leaning up against each other, and they look like some are in front of the other one, so it's very cool. Next, I am lining up the masks with each egg, and it's really easy to do. And to hold that down, I took a piece of painter's tape, which I did stick down to my pants a couple times to just make it even more low tack. And then I am able to add some ink all around these eggs, and then I don't have to worry about muddying up the colors because of the mask being there. So that turned out to be a really fun look for this panel, which I used on this card you saw at the beginning of the video. I also splattered my eggs with some white acrylic paint for even more Eastery look. So that is the entire March release from Trinity Stamps. I will have everything in the release linked for you below so you can go check that out. Stay tuned to my channel for more creations with these things in the future, and I will see you on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!